An indication of what the rhythm of the points will be like from the back of the court. Anderson, a very solid two-hander. His forehand at times can be a little erratic, although he seems to have ironed out some of the inconsistencies on that side. Shapovalov blessed with an explosive forehand. And I think Anderson will be careful about when he goes into that wing and at what time.
Certainly the serve game, Kevin Anderson, the powerhouse part of his overall game. Straight set win over Jeremy Chardy in round number 2. Did not face a single break point, and he's held on 39 of 41 service games so far in the first 2 rounds. So Shapovalov's going to have to try to find a way to generate some break point opportunities, but they usually are few and far between. Of course, Anderson at the All England Club certainly got support from wife Kelsey in the stands. A great run at the 3rd Slam of the year, able to push past Roger Federer in 4+ hours in the quarterfinals, then the marathon 6-hour, 36-minute affair against John Isner. 26-24 in the 4th. And certainly did not have a lot left to face Novak Djokovic in the final. As you might expect, Kevin Anderson holding out of the gate and the early lead here against Denis Shapovalov.
Shapovalov's returns will be tested today. He does tend to like to drive the backhand return. It can be tricky to be consistent with your return if you're trying to meet pace with pace.
Do we have wrong rackets behind the court?
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe it was just the bag that they're wrapped up in. I'm not sure. It looked like Kei Nishikori's delivery may have gone to the wrong place.
Return to sender? A little bit different meaning here in tennis if that's the occasion. We'll see how that plays out. Shapovalov's first service game. And his service game has not been as strong as one would expect as Anderson's, holding serve in 31 of 41 games, 76%. And leaf in part, Shapovalov mid-season altering his service form a little bit, trying to find some more consistency.
Yeah, I think he's trying to get the racket and the ball to the hit point a little more quickly and hopefully allowing for a little more consistent production. Yeah, he does slip out of his service rhythm occasionally, and suddenly he can find double faults appearing. So I'm sure there's some concern, but you know, he has confidence. As he said, he's going to swing freely, play freely today. Yeah, there's the forehand. Just has a natural swing and a natural ability to produce pace. I mean, great acceleration right through the ball, hitting the back fence with the ball rising. That says something.
Wasted backhand there for Shapovalov. And youngest player in the top 100 beat the youngest player in the top 200. The qualifier, Felix Auger-Aliassime, is 18-year-old good friend from Canada who had to retire with some medical issues in their first round match. And produced one of the early heartwarming moments here at the U.S. Open when Denis afterwards was consoling his good friend who was certainly upset that he couldn't continue. And Denis told him, look, we're going to be playing at these events for a long, long time. There'll be another day. It's part of the bright future for Tennis Canada. Shapovalov able to hold 1-all in this match on Armstrong.
Yeah, pretty exciting times for Canadian tennis. Shapovalov and Aliassime. Vasek Pospisil playing well. Milos Raonic back as the #1 Canadian player. So Raonic is back to health. It's a pretty mighty Davis Cup lineup that they would march into any tie anywhere in the world.
There is that Wolf Storm looking on as Denis is ready to pounce. All right, Leaf, you've got a guy like Kevin Anderson who's almost automatic in these serve games, 6'8", power. How do you go about in the return game here for Denis?
Yeah, I think it's important. Balls back in play. You know, maybe vary your return position. So you're still comfortable, but maybe giving him a different look. It's tough to shake this guy, though. Very dependable on his serve. And when you do get a look at a second like you have here, love 15, you have to try and take advantage. And the opportunity has suddenly gotten a little bit bigger at love 30.
So Anderson trying to lock in. Again, did not allow a break opportunity in his last match against Shardy. And now he'll withstand a bunch here as Shapovalov is able to sneak that by.
Now that's a dangerous wing to attack into because he can play with variety in defense. Again, a little bit shallow in terms of the approach and did not handle that dipping ball well. So possibilities aplenty for the young Canadian.
Here it is, chance for Shapovalov. And these opportunities do not come around too often on the serve game of Kevin Anderson. Again, on the year, has won 89% of his serve games entering the U.S. Open. It's long, and Shapo has the early break. Little over a year ago, Denis Shapovalov emerged with that run to the semifinal in Montreal, beating Juan Martín del Potro and Rafael Nadal. youngest ATP Masters 1000 quarterfinalist and semifinalist since the series started in 1990. That was at age 18. Now at 19, he's morphed into a fan favorite and a threat anytime he laces him up.
Now you can see his natural instinct to be aggressive, to attack.
Trying to build off the break early against Anderson.
Boy, that's a good second serve. Looks like it caught the back edge of the line. Anderson had a second glance, opted not to challenge. But this is the kind of free swinging tennis that makes him so dangerous.
Looking back at the thoughts after his match against Rafa Nadal last year in Montreal. And that was the thought process from his camp. He just kept kind of going for things and taking it right at Rafa. And it worked in that breakthrough match.
Yeah, sweet hitting. And looking like he's found a nice rhythm on the backhand.
We mentioned his ranking in the top 30 now. Last year he got into the top 200, the top 100, the top 50. And as an 18-year-old, he became the youngest top 50 player since Nadal in 2004. Also did it at age 18. Hold at love for Shapovalov, and the 3-1 advantage, set one.
Yeah, that's a wonderful confidence builder when you can protect your serve at love, when you've got the break advantage. You're sitting at 1-3 now, and you really feel, you know, I can do some good things right now. Maybe even get a second break. You can play a little more freely. Not that he needs any more of that.
USOpenshop.org, the official shop for the 2018 US Open. Tees, caps, towels, outerwear, collectibles. You can get it all. USOpenshop.org. That just was long. And Shapovalov opting not to ask for a chase review. Each player with 3 in each set. They'll keep them if they're successful. Anderson trying to buckle down. Leaf, you look at Wimbledon, the Grand Slam, those 7 matches, almost 24 hours he spent competing in tennis at the All England Club during that slam. Near 11 hours just in the quarters and semis combined. Ace down the tee, and then against Djokovic, it was tough to summon a lot. Of course, Novak played phenomenally in that final.
A little chip and charge tennis, and Anderson is not particularly agile at the net, but he's ahead in the score. He's going to do what the ball tells him here. He's just going to come in just to explore the backhand, but it's just not quite good enough.
Even at 6'8", not enough reach to get there. Shapovalov will challenge. Chase review coming, otherwise Anderson will have the hole.
He struck it well, and it was close. The baseline is the toughest one for a player to see, so he's going to rely on the chase review to see if maybe they got it wrong. Yeah, because he got it right on the back of the paint.
He'll retain that challenge, and a replay of the point coming.
Let's preserve.
They did give the point to Shapovalov, so it's 40-30. Either way, it doesn't matter. Anderson able to pull through and get the hold. Armstrong Stadium here, the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. It is gorgeous, open in its refurbished state here for the first time in 2018. Second biggest show court in the show place here for Denis Shapovalov and Kevin Anderson. 28 seed against the 5th seed and defending U.S. Open finalist. Good serve, locking up Anderson in the body.
Shapovalov can hold that forehand. You know, you can wait till Anderson makes the move. Kevin moving to his left. Shapovalov up the line. Certainly has an opportunity to be one of the biggest shots in the game as his game evolves, as that sort of understanding comes with having a weapon like that. When do you pull the trigger? Yep, cross court again. And I think Shapovalov is learning that Anderson can be vulnerable at the net. I mean, he really didn't have to flirt with the lines here. This is a fairly straightforward cross-court pass. Yeah, look at that. It's fairly central, but Anderson wasn't covering well. It's a nice feeling when you don't have to squeeze passing shots in down the line.
Double for Shapovalov. Yeah, his breakthrough last year, the ranking's gone up this year for Shapovalov. Couple of semifinals, early exits essentially from the other 3 Grand Slams, but the year as a whole, as far as growth goes, seems like it's been pretty solid for him. Continuing to build pieces of the game and kind of learning what it's like week in, week out to kind of start to have a little bit of a target on your back.
Yeah, he's got a great attitude about the game. Yeah, played well in Spain and Madrid in the altitude on the red clay there, reached the semis, lost to the eventual champion, Sasha Zverev there. Those points helped protect his ranking when the Montreal points came off. He also lost to Francis Tiafoe. That was in Delray Beach. Tiafoe ended up winning the tournament, so he's been facing some of the best guys in the world playing their best.
Second serve here, Shapovalov trying to get the hold. And he does. 4-2. Mom Tessa certainly liking that. She's been doing a lot of the coaching duties for him lately on the road.
And what Shapovalov is doing well here is he's not surrendering the center of the court to Anderson. You know, he's getting the big man moving. You don't want to allow Anderson to get his feet organized so that he can dominate the ball, because otherwise he'll be dominating you. And it's been a controlled, aggressive performance so far from Shapovalov, doing a lot of things well, handling the moment beautifully.
Let's preserve.
Yeah, pretty tidy from Shapovalov, just 3 unforced errors. That's a good shot. It's a good service return. So he's seeing the ball well.
Anderson's on the flip side, just 3 total winners and 7 unforced.
Yeah, and that point an indication of when Anderson does get the center of the court, you're the one be doing the running. You know, the good news for Shapovalov is that he can generate pace really from anywhere on the court. And that's something elite players seem to possess. You know, you get these great players, the big 4, the big 5, you get them out of position, they seem to come up with something good. And that's, Shapovalov has an instinct for that as well.
Leaf, is that one of those things that's a learned skill, or do you just have it?
I think it's a little bit of having it, you know. I mean, Nadal has it, Federer has it, Djokovic has it. I mean, you have to have a shot maker's skill. You need to have a champion mentality. And the ability to call on something special when you really need it. Because it's hard to be great consistently. And that's one of those little intangibles you'd like to possess. Of course, deep wells of confidence. Confidence is an intangible. Yeah, good serve out wide. I mean, Anderson has to go out to the forehand occasionally because he's going to have to open up the court to get to Denis's backhand. Of course, Kevin has a great coach in his corner. Brad Stein, who worked with Jim Courier successfully for so many years, and it's no coincidence that suddenly Anderson is getting to Grand Slam finals. He's getting a lot of good input from some good people around him, and that's also part of being a champion, I think, is surrounding yourself with good people.
Anderson with the hold. Shapovalov still with the upper hand, 4-3. Opening set. Denis Shapovalov. Better numbers than Kevin Anderson so far in the winners and unforced errors, and also on the scoreline. Serving at 4-3, already up a break. New balls coming in. And Shapovalov ready to go. Made the 4th round last year, trying to get there this year against last year's runner-up. Shapovalov in the lead here despite only a 47% efficiency on his first serve. And again, he'll have to go to the second serve, but he's been locked in there. He's won 7 of 9 points on his second serve.
15-all.
Yeah, you can see Anderson shaking his head about that return. It was a good serve. I'm sure Kevin, in his mind, thinks he's got to knock down that return. At least get involved in the point, and some numbers sort of underlining what you're talking about, Chase.
Don't know if that will hold up forever.
You don't want to give your opponent too many looks, do you? Against someone as quality as Anderson right now. Yeah, just their first meeting. You're going to just begin to understand the tendencies of your opponent as you get into this match. Yeah, just missed it. That's not a bad ball, though.
He'll take a gander. Trying to look for the mark to see if it's worth a chase review. $30 all.
Yeah, that's money. And that's going to be a useful serve. Left-handers can really test a right-hander's backhand capabilities, particularly a two-hander. It's going to force the right-hander to stretch out with the two hands, maybe even drop one. Of course, that's a sign of weakness. You get to a two-hander who's playing a one, you're going to buy yourself some time, and that's a good serve. So he's crossed up Anderson pretty nicely, out wide, down the tee. So serving and executing with variety.
First two aces of the match for Shapovalov push him to the 5-3 advantage. Now Anderson looking to match.
Ooh, Anderson looking a little bit stiff. Was that the left hip? Let's take a look at that. A little soreness, perhaps.
Something to certainly monitor.
Oh, too bad. Boy, that was an alert, quick move forward. You can see he made a little motion like you got to find a little more feel on that volley, a little more underspin. You got to find the bottom of the ball to carry the net.
Shapovalov again monitoring the situation, giving a look to the umpire, see if he could get some intel whether or not to ask for a chase review. He seems sufficiently okay with it. 30 love. That forehand got some whip to it.
I remember John McEnroe saying, you know, he reminds me a little bit of me, but, you know, for me, he reminds me more of Rod Laver. And I remember the great Australian coach, the legendary coach, Harry Hopman, and what he said to Rod Laver that might apply to Shapovalov as well. You know, Laver was this talented, strong shot maker out of Rockhampton, came to train at Hopman's Academy in Australia, and he said, you know, Rocket, just keep hitting it, because when they go in, you're going to be a handful. And that's a little bit of what Shapovalov's about. Yet he's already starting to find the range. But, of course, the target for Laver and the greats is Grand Slam glory, is Davis Cup. For the HP World Tour, it's Masters Series tennis. And you see Shapovalov putting his name on the list for those kinds of achievements.
40-30.
It's funny, a lot of people have framed Shapovalov as one of the next greats. And for Anderson, again, just working relentlessly to get to that point. Some maybe didn't think it would happen to get to the top five, be a guy to get to Grand Slam finals, but he's been there twice in the past year plus. So you know he's going to battle. Kevin Anderson battling Denis Shapovalov and maybe battling a bit of an issue with his upper right leg. Saw him pull up in that attempt in the corner a couple of games ago in this set. Trainer out to visit in that last changeover. No treatment there. Believe they may be doing something, it seems, at the end of the set, which could come after one more game.
Yeah, even if Anderson breaks serve, I believe that you can take an injury timeout because it is your serve next. You don't want to interrupt your opponent's serve to take an injury timeout. So see how that goes, though. The way Shapovalov has been going, he probably will look to close it out.
all.
And just the occasional moment where he gets off rhythm and just rushes that second serve a little bit, I think.
Let Professor.
And again, handcuffing Anderson in the body, 30-15.
Yeah, that's not a good sign for Anderson. You know, he's not seeing the ball and his body isn't reacting well. But that is a nasty serve coming at him. Yeah, lots of movement, lots of spin, and it gets in on you very quickly.
Frustration for Anderson. Set point, Shapovalov. World number 5, runner-up last year, on the verge of going down a set.
Yeah, the only points he's lost in this game, a double fault and an early error in the rally. So just need to settle in, find a first serve, and do what the ball tells you. Don't ask questions of yourself.
There it is. The 19-year-old takes set 1 here inside Armstrong, 6-4 over number 5 seed Kevin Anderson, who should be getting expected treatment coming up in the timeout. Anderson to serve. Again, only one break opportunity for the 19-year-old Canadian, and he took it. Anderson gets the sweatband situated, and the 32-year-old, world number 5, trying to start a comeback surge here against Shapovalov.
Correction ball is good, Professor.
Overrule from the chair. Another first serve coming. Shapovalov opening up on the forehand, and Anderson, again, going that side is when he seemed to kind of really show indications of an injury and not even moving that well to try to attempt to get there. Round 1, Anderson started cramping against Ryan Harrison in the United States. After winning the first set in a tiebreak, he dropped the next 2, but somehow managed the situation and was able to prevail in 5. Oh, Shapovalov into the net.
Oh boy, that looked bad, but I think he's going to be okay. Might have skinned his knee. Yeah, the exuberance of youth. Well, let's hope he's okay. Yeah, I tried to, well, I thought it was going to slide, but his foot caught, and he went head first.
Awkward fall, but seems to be no worse for the wear. After his second round match when he went 5, his longest match ever, as we take another look at the tumble, Denis said it was a long and physical match against Andreas Seppi, but I'm lucky I'm 19. I'll be ready for Friday.
14-13.
Yeah, just full of exuberance. Another check of the leg, it looked like, just to see if there was any minor damage done. Looks clean.
Out. Game Anderson.
Just pop long.
First game,
Anderson
second set.
able to hold Shapovalov.
Yeah, and I think it's fairly clear that Anderson is not 100%. And, Anderson's going to try and get by with a lot of good serving and see if he can just tough this out. And I'm not sure that's going to be enough today. As long as Denis can sort of remain under control, doing the right things, and get a few breaks. I mean, it's tough to take out Anderson even when he's 95% or 90%. But we've seen Nick Kyrgios, the talented Australian who has played with injuries, possessing a brilliant serve. He can get through matches because of that serve, play one good return game, and he can get through. So no doubt Anderson is dangerous, but I like Shapovalov's chances.
15.
But if there's someone this summer that's kind of shown a propensity for surviving long endurance tests, it's Kevin Anderson against Roger Federer at Wimbledon, 4+ hours, and then over 6.5 hours against John Isner in the semifinals of the All England Club. 26-24 or 24 in the 5th, second longest match.
Yeah, and I just wonder whether that match might be just another signal that the All England Club might need to come around and consider a way of shortening those matches. I mean, Anderson, for all his best efforts, just wasn't able to muster much of a challenge in the final because of the length of that semi. Maybe a tiebreak at 10 games all in the final set. Now you've got to make that.
15-13.
Just tried to carve it when maybe he should have hit it.
If you're Shapovalov and Anderson's ailing on one side or the other, how does that alter how you go about your business here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's thinking, well, I'll cut this short, and it's a good idea, but he needs to be firm with it. Maybe not firm enough. Oh, that is just money. I'm not sure what the Canadian dollar is, but it's still money. Beautiful backhand, and look at the angle he finds, again, from deep in the court. Put that one on the highlight reel.
Unafraid, 30 all. With a net court, gets the winner, and a point away from his initial hold in set 2. Didn't miss by much. Deuce.
Yep, just continue to make Kevin stretch out to that backhand until Anderson makes the adjustment. That's going to be a profitable play.
Game Shapovalov.
Denis able to carve in the serve. 1-all. And playing like he says he feels coming into this year's U.S. Open. Relax. Said last year was more about kind of feeling like he needed to back up what he did at Montreal when he got to the semifinal. This year, feeling loose, playing loose. And Storm, the Wolf mascot there for the Shapovalov camp, looks like he approves.
And here's Anderson again, trying to build momentum. This guy has really made it the hard way. You know, I think he was 0 for 9 in his first Grand Slam fourth round attempts. It took him a long time to get the breakthrough. He was 0 for 10 in Masters Series quarterfinals before getting to his first semifinal. And I think there was a belief that this guy was top 20 for 5 straight years. He's got top 10 game. And I think the last piece of the puzzle was how he approached it, how he believed in himself. Because oftentimes the mental component is as important as the forehands and backhands you produce.
Move well enough to cover that there. And is up 40 love. That started for him maybe early in his career. Should look at him with the backhand setup.
Yeah, I don't think you'd ever say that Kevin was early on considered a clutch player. You know, he maybe struggled with some of those big moments and performing his best under pressure. But I think he's finding answers to that now. That's why he's bumping up against Grand Slam titles.
You go back to 2010 when he was grinding, just trying to qualify. He qualified for 9 tour-level events that year, which is tied with a bunch of players for the second most since the start of the ATP Tour in 1990. Now he's morphed into a threat at Grand Slams and a top 5 player. Brand new with the roof on top if needed. We'll see if it's forced to be closed. Rain in the forecast. Potentially a sprinkle earlier, but nothing to stop play.
Mr. Shapovalov jumped in the call on the left center service line. What was called fault?
Yeah, they had the stadium, the roof on Ash Stadium court closed for the Sloane Stephens Victoria Azarenka match. But now it's open.
Love the team.
So a double fault to begin this service game for Shapovalov. Third double fault of the match against 3 aces.
Yeah, one thing that I think Shapovalov has to like is that Anderson plays fairly flat. You know, he's not a heavy, spinny player, so a lot of these balls come right into that strike zone that players enjoy. You know, if your timing is right, you can get a little bit of pace from the ball that Anderson's giving you. So Shapovalov's ball is really jumping. You know, I think that ball is easier than the ball that Rafael Nadal gives you, the high bouncing spinning ball that's up above your shoulders out of the strike zone. Boy, that's a great shot.
15-13.
You know, Anderson, again, didn't look particularly smooth and maybe even a little sore moving to his right, but he got it done. Look at that. And that time he used a bit of the pace coming to him. Just guided that up the line.
That was apt. Awkward looking shot, but effective. And that may be the way it's going to be today, if it's going to be for Kevin Anderson. Again, when he's gone to the body leaf, Anderson has not had great success in defending that serve. Shapovalov a point away from 2-all. The hour mark upon us here in this best of 5. And an ace seals it for the player that last year in the ATP Tour was named the star of tomorrow as the youngest player ending the year in the top 100, and also the ATP's most improved player. That's given by your fellow players. That's got to mean a lot.
Yeah, it certainly does. And I believe the Star of Tomorrow award was given away at the ATP World Tour Finals at the O2, so really a nice recognition for him to be in such a bright spotlight, surrounded by some of the best guys in the game.
Don't forget, you can stay connected to the U.S. Open on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. Hashtag there is U.S. Open. And the hashtag for Kevin Anderson may be ailing but still competing here. Again, with that treatment, upper right leg between sets, and try to chase down Shapovalov, who took the first 6-4.
Oh, yes. You thought he might have a chance to come in and volley that first floating ball from Anderson, but he opts to let it bounce, and great preparation on the forehand. And he was coming in behind that one, but no volley required. Just plays with such a wonderful exuberance, doesn't he?
Yep. A lot of zest in his game and reactions. Certainly engaging a lot of people.
And you can hear Kevin Anderson trying to urge himself on. He's going to need a bit of that. Yeah, pretty good rally there from Anderson. I think it was Wednesday this week here in Caroline Wozniacki. He rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. Closing bell. Of course, that was part of this 50th anniversary celebration of open tennis, an introduction of professional tennis players playing for prize money. Of course, Arthur Ashe winning it in 1968. There ended it. Cliff Drysdale, Hall of Famer, one of the initial presidents of the ATP. And in 1968, he beat Rod Laver in the quarterfinals. And he said that was the reason why Arthur won, because Rocket always had Arthur Ashe's number.
Ashe able to prevail in that historic first ever event in the new era. Anderson has settled in on his serve game as he is so often to do. The Anderson box got to be pleased with the proceedings so far in set 2. Their man on top. In the last changeover, Kevin Anderson kind of hunting for the right refreshment that he wanted. Took a while, but he found it as he continues to hunt down Denis Shapovalov, who's got the set lead on serve here in the second between the two. As you look into Manhattan, we are in the borough of Queens here, Flushing Meadows. Shapovalov serves.
Built the point nicely and came in at the right time. And you can go cross court in the approach, but you definitely want to be more centered so you can cover the line. Good use of it there.
Neither player has had great success when coming to the net in this match. Anderson with that last winner is 3 of 7 at the net. Shapovalov is just 1 of 8. That's nicely set up. We touched on it before with Shapovalov kind of tinkering with his serve the midway portion of the season. That's got to be a lot to take on as you're in the middle of slam season, hard court season, big time match season, continuing to elevate yourself in the rankings. He's handled it pretty well.
Yeah, bad luck on the net court for Shapovalov as Anderson finishes off that easily. Yeah, I don't think it was too big a drastic change on the serve. Maybe just accelerating and moving the racket ahead in the swing a little bit earlier. But you're right, he has handled it well mid-season. Looks like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, the forehand in fine form as usual.
It's just difficult. Sorry, it's just difficult for a right-hander to defend the serve out wide. You can see the real estate he has to give up.
And you saw the stretch from Anderson too, with that wingspan at 6'8". Still a tall ask for him. 9 forehand winners for Shapovalov.
And there again is that strike zone. If you're a one-handed backhand, look at this. I mean, that's right where you like it. And just a couple more errors appearing. He was pretty flawless in the opening set. Great start. Anderson looking a little bit sharper. Maybe he's played through some of the soreness he had with that high leg injury, possibly a groin.
Anderson will come in, and it pays off, and he has a break opportunity for the first time in the match.
Yeah, this is a little bit better tennis, and quickly forward when he sees the damage he's done. And that's a nice little angled volley. Looks like he left half his tennis shoes on the hard courts there with that slide.
Shapovalov had Anderson on the run, but missed. And now the South African has broken the Canadian here in set 2.
Now that's a lesson for all tennis players. The reason why you run after the ball and put one more ball back into play. Pancho Seguro, the great coach who worked with Jimmy Connors for many years, a great pro in the 50s, said, give your opponent the ball. And Anderson gave that ball back one more time, and it earned him the break. I mean, that's hugely significant in this match. Just a little moment in the course of this set.
Only 2 break points in this match so far, and both have been gobbled up by the opponents. 4-2 Anderson here in the second. Shapovalov displeased. Maybe a little bit of precipitation starting to come here. And talking to the chair.
The umpire Hellworth, you can see, mentioned, let's get the umbrellas out, and someone's going to have to click that button on the roof because they're going to want to shut this, I think, because if we've got any rain coming, you want to keep the court as dry as possible. Of course, these people have come prepared. Is it Mick Jagger? People wearing plastic bags? Maybe not directing traffic, but watching tennis matches.
So here we go.
Please take your seats.
Anderson just breaking Shapovalov, and now he'll serve at 4-2. Been over 7 minutes since that break. Roof closed. Indoor tennis inside Armstrong.
15-11.
And Anderson won the initial serve point before we had our roof closing delay. And picking up where he left off after the break. Does that little stoppage here favor either one of these guys momentum-wise?
Yeah, I think it's only going to favor the player who deals with it best. You know, I don't think one guy or another, but it's okay. Who's going to deal with it the best? So far, Kevin Anderson looks like he's dealing with it well. Beautiful ace. Yeah, a few miles per hour on that one.
First of the set, second for the match. Kevin Anderson holds a game away from squaring this best of 5 at a set apiece. The 5 seed getting back on form. The roof closed inside Louis Armstrong Stadium for the first time in main draw play. If you were tracking at home, took 3 minutes 45 seconds for it to close. Denis Shapovalov hopes the window of opportunity hasn't closed here in the second set. Sat up on net court and gets the forehand put away as he looks to stay in set 2. Took the first 6-4. Just 2 breaks of serve, 2 break points total in the match. Each player grabbing one as Anderson looks to equalize in the match. Shapovalov got there, but no real option with the sizable Anderson lurking near the net. $15 all.
And pretty nice feel for the big guy. Dropping that over the net nicely.
And a double fault from Shapovalov. He has thrown in a few of those. Shapo camp looking on.
Mr. Shapovalov is challenging the goal on the left far sideline.
Chase review coming. He believes that serve was good. It was. Give him the point, 30 all. Super touch. For all the exuberance, he's got a mature game.
Yeah, he does. He does the right things out there, and he really plays all-court tennis. He's not just a baseliner, not just a serve. He can put all sorts of combinations together.
Like that. A winning recipe in the game, but Anderson has the chance to close out the set.
And I think this is a nice little expression of, I know you're a little bit hurting. Let's see if you're going to make this run.
And the answer was no.
He did not make a move for that one.
And Anderson realizing time and circumstance, he can get the desired result with one of his strengths, serving. We have not seen that normal barrage of aces that you will see at times from Kevin Anderson. Just one so far in the match.
Yeah, and maybe just a hint that he's not at his best. Hasn't played great in his first couple of matches. He got through them. He's finding a way.
And he had 18 in a 3-set win against Shardy in the last round. Some of that due to the ability of Shapovalov. Been solid in the return game. And again, picked up the 1 break point required to take the first set.
Yeah, that's been an added facet of Anderson's game as well. He's primarily a baseline player, but he's had to learn how to play from all parts of the court.
And for a guy that wasn't moving maybe great for a stretch in that first set leading to treatment, he's moved pretty well. Saw 8 of 12 net points, won of the match, 7 of 7 in this set. In the 25-second serve clock, Anderson using a bunch of it, but you just need to start the motion of the serve to fall in line with that point. And he's a point away from evening the best of 5. And it's there. Shapovalov dumps the volley, and Anderson squares the score. 6-3 in the second, all even inside Armstrong Stadium. And it says it on the scoreboard, too. 6-3 in the second for the 5 seed against number 28, Denis Shapovalov of Canada. Jason Appleaf-Shiras, glad to have you with us as we get rolling. Roof closed midway second set. Set 3 underway.
Second serve.
In Leaf, I would assume, with just the 2 break points, 1 in each set, kind of deciding things, both players don't need to change kind of much.
Yeah, I think you want to play your game and just hopefully play it well enough. There's a sense that Shapovalov just needs to play his game, make the big man move, attack when he can, and do it in an effective fashion. Like that.
Again, you made note of it. First serve, second serve going to be a big deal.
Yep.
If the first serve's not going to be in, he has to deliver more on the second serve. That time, first serve was good. And simple volley put away. Yeah, another first serve. And the forehand on display. 12 forehand winners in the match for the 19-year-old. Shapovalov strikes first, set 3. Last year, that run here in New York City, when he got to the 4th round, the youngest player to get that deep at the U.S. Open since Michael Chang did it at age 17 in 1989. And the youngest player to get to the 4th round at any Grand Slam since Marat Safin did it in 1998 at age 18 at Roland Garros. So you're talking decades since anyone this young has gone this deep at a tournament like this.
Yeah, he's a precocious talent, and he's putting himself with some very exclusive names in the tennis universe. Looking like he's going to be one of the stars as well.
Anderson at the opposite end of the spectrum. His breakthrough last year in his early 30s, that final here. Again at Wimbledon this year. That's more like it in the ace game for the 6'8" South African. Again, calls Florida home here in the States. Met his wife Kelsey in their college days at Illinois when he was a star on the tennis team.
love.
Able to power through. Anderson took some time off, clearly, after so much match time at Wimbledon. Able to get to the semifinal in Toronto. And it was interesting there, he was actually teamed in doubles with the man he played in the Wimbledon final, Novak Djokovic. They were quite the pair to be seen.
If you can't beat him, join him. Yeah, he's made some nice moves. You know, he lived for a long time in Champaign, where he went to school, but he's moved now to Delray Beach, and he gets a lot of good tennis down there. The climate is right to be able to train year-round. It's very comfortable.
A rare hiccup at the net for Anderson, who's been effective in that spot in this match. Anderson, easy hold.
And you can see that both men are very effective with their serves when they go out wide, whether it's in the deuce court or the ad. Opening up the court with each of these and their effective serves has been valuable. You either win the point outright or it's instant game planning. You've got space to hit the next shot into, and you're going to be at a distinct advantage.
Quality execution for the left-hander.
And again, whoever seemingly controls the center of the court is the one who's winning the points more regularly. And that's a great little move on the floating ball. Ghosting in, as they say. Another serve out wide.
Five of five this set. What he's gotten the first serve in winning the point. And that continues thanks to the net. That popped up and stayed on Anderson's side. And an ace to seal it. Denis Shapovalov picking himself back up after dropping the last set. On serve here to tied match in the third. Now the roof is closed, but this match is wide open between Denis Shapovalov, Kevin Anderson inside Louis Armstrong Stadium. Split first two sets. Shapovalov the first, Anderson the second. On serve here with Anderson trying to equalize, serving at 1-2 in the third.
It's a heavy first serve, 126 miles per hour. And it also comes at you from a fairly tremendous height. He's 6 feet 8 inches tall. You can see long arms and gets good extension up into the toss and down into the box. You know, maybe not as much as an Ivo Karlovic, who's 6'10", or John Isner. But I think that's where Anderson has the edge on those guys, is that he's a little more agile, yet he still possesses a fair amount of height.
40 love.
And those guys all possess big serves. I think right now the player with the best serve, at least of the next gen of the players that are emerging, is Nick Kyrgios. I mean, this guy's serve is remarkable. If he can sort of get all the pieces together, he's another man you have to feel like is going to be around for a while, contending for majors.
Notched a 140-mile-an-hour serve in his win yesterday. He'll have Roger Federer coming next tomorrow here. Anderson, his best serve so far in this match at 133 miles per hour. 214 kilometers per hour. Using that measuring guide. 40-15. Shapovalov capitalizing on that friendly hop.
Anderson did well just to get that back into play.
And then he was in no man's land. The serve with a save, and Anderson holds 2-all. And 3 aces here in the set for Kevin Anderson after having just won over the first 2. Certainly that bodes well for him if that part of his game starts to materialize into the normal, consistent weapon that it is. Extended rally for this pair. That's just out. He talked about the movement for Anderson, and Shapovalov's maneuvered him around as the dictator of a lot of points. An ace for Shapovalov. Anderson, 6'8", used to be a middle distance runner. Ran the 800 competitively growing up. It's got to be a sight to be seen at that size. Chase Review says the serve is in.
Yeah, well, his dad was a big runner, but wanted to teach his boys tennis. So he got Chuck Creasy's book about tennis. Chuck Creasy, a former coach at Clemson University, and used that book as a guide in teaching Kevin the game of tennis and some of the training and drills that they did.
No, he is.
Yeah, he says if I wasn't a tennis player, I'd probably be doing more running.
Again, this last year plus with these steep pushes and slams, he's sprinted up the rankings. And last year, when Anderson got through to the final at the Open, he was the world number 32. Shapovalov able to get the hold. And we stay rolling along here in the third. On serve, Shapovalov up 3-2. Here in the grounds of the Billie Jean King USTA National Tennis Center. Good one developing here between Denis Shapovalov, Kevin Anderson. 28 seed and the world number 5. Right now on serve, third set after splitting the first 2. Anderson ready to put the ball in the air on his racket.
15 left.
A left-hander is going to take you out wide, and as a right-hander, you have to do the same thing to a left-hander in the deuce court. Although he is a little more accustomed to seeing that than you are, the lefty out wide in the ad.
30 love.
Anderson really seems to have found rhythm in his serve game.
Yeah, he really has. And Shapovalov across the net has struggled to see it get the strings on the ball like he was in the opening set. I mean, he was money in the return game. Not so much now.
Anderson grooving. He's won 12 of 13 points on his first serve in this set. And he's evened things up at 3 apiece.
We've seen the rise of Canadian tennis. And for many years, South Africa had any number of players inside the top 100. I think Kevin Anderson is the only South African guy in the top 250 now.
And we touched on it right before that last changeover when he made the final last year as the world number 32. Oh, Shapovalov off balance, tried to stretch and almost whiffed.
Yeah, it looks like he was thinking, you know, I've got the whole court. I just need to put it into play instead of just hitting it. Just got the timing all wrong.
And just to tidy up that point about Anderson, first South African U.S. Open finalist in the Open era. And also the tallest Grand Slam finalist in the Open era. Somehow you figure over time with players just getting bigger and faster, that may not last.
Yeah, and those numbers are a little misleading as well, though. Because you got a couple of South African guys who emigrated to the, you know, Kevin Curran, Johan Kriek. Johan Kriek's a 2-time Grand Slam champion. And he's essentially South African who happens to be an American.
Qualifying under the American flag at that time.
Of course, yes.
And remembering that kind of dust up when that happened a year ago, talking about it.
Yeah, good hitting from Shapovalov again. Get the big man off balance.
13,
Don't let him get his weight on the ball that he can transfer it into his shots. You'd rather that he's just playing with his arms.
Shapovalov and that forehand's phenomenal, but we've seen it break down a few times here in the last set plus 30 all.
Yeah, Anderson had the ball he wanted. Just lost the forehand over the baseline. And you can see just having a conversation with himself. That narrative is important. You want to be reminding yourself of the right things, learning from your mistakes, staying positive. Yeah, and that's a good, strong return. You know, you just hit the ball hard and deep straight down the middle. You can see how effective it can be.
Shapovalov trying to get in tune here as he fires a deuce. And
boy.
now whipped it long.
Yeah.
Break points have been scarce in this match. It's just the third of this best of 5 setter. And both of them have been scooped up to this point. Can Anderson keep that trend going? Forehand miss, Shapovalov. For the second straight set, Kevin Anderson gets a break. Kevin Anderson buoyed by the break of Denis Shapovalov. Serving here, trying to go up 5-3 and escape from trouble. Although certainly plenty to come here in this one. That's provided good action. Shapovalov taking the first, Anderson the second.
Yeah, and this tends to be a pattern in Shapovalov matches, and I don't mean to be too critical, but it seems like his return rhythm goes off, and he doesn't make enough balls. I mean, that was a makeable ball. At the very least, he's got to get in there and challenge Anderson by putting that into play. Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, obviously you want to continue to be aggressive, think aggressively, and use that naturally instinctive shot making, but you've got to get the point started. I mean, even this is better than giving him nothing. Yeah. Give him something to play at the very least. And that's where I'd like to see him maybe, carve a few of these returns, get the ball down low, off to the side.
Anderson's done a good job adjusting throughout this. Again, sign of a veteran skilled player, now a top 5 player in the world. Things not going his way early, finding a way to steady the ship and capitalize when needed to push ahead. Point away from 5-3. Wicked winner from Shapovalov. Seven on the backhand side.
And that's the kind of return you can hit on the second serve. The strategy in returning is, okay, first serve, you play a little bit of defense, get balls in play, occasionally pop one. Second serve, play offense, be aggressive, move in.
You've got to take the chances when you get them against Kevin Anderson. 14 of 15 on his first serves, winning points this set. Just 1 of 5 on the second serves. And another second serve chance to pounce for Shapovalov coming. Anderson went up the tee and did enough to gain the hold. 5-3 in the third.
Yeah, he really has settled in, and physically he just looks so much better than he did in the opening set, where just struggled. And that's not to take anything away from Shapovalov, who played supremely out of the blocks. But Anderson has gotten stronger. Shapovalov a little more scratchy in his play.
And still has more winners than unforced errors, 31-25. But the unforced have crept up here in the last couple of sets. And the serve has been shaky too. Double faults have plagued him a few times right at the start of service games, and working from that early hole right from the get-go. First serve power. And he's been dominant in this set when he's gotten the first serve in, winning 14 of 17. And again, that was a rifle, 127 miles per hour, just off his fastest of the match.
And beautiful serve. And such nice placement. You're leaning to the left and the ball goes to your right if you're a right-hander.
Impressive hold, Shapovalov. Kevin Anderson, Denis Shapovalov, a recent Grand Slam finalist, with a player that's expected to get to Grand Slam finals throughout his career. Only one of them will have the opportunity to continue their run in New York, and the 5 seed has the chance to finish off the 3rd set in this service game. And Anderson just has been locked in on his serve game here. The last 2 sets.
Excellent backhand. It had depth. And it had some clearance over the net. And that allowed Shapovalov time to get back into the play as Anderson struggled to make clean contact.
Big swing from Anderson, 132 miles an hour on that one.
This guy just has a bomb of a serve. I mean, he just crushes it.
Again, if he continues like this, think of how much more pressure Shapovalov has in his service games. Only had 1 break point chance in the match. He got it. That's the reason he won set 1. And now cruising towards the end of set 3. No panic. Plenty of patience here for Anderson to kind of steady things and vault himself in front. And that'll do it. At least for the moment. We will have a chase review. Shapovalov saying, why not? I'll take a crack at a challenge. He's already seeded, so I don't think he thinks too much of it.
Game.
And it was right on the line.
Anderson.
Game and third set to Kevin Anderson, who's got a 2-1 lead inside Armstrong. Kevin Anderson won 6 matches here in New York City, all the way to the final before bowing to Rafael Nadal. Denis Shapovalov did himself proud as an 18-year-old getting to round 4 here in New York City a year ago. It's going to be the exit for one of them here. Anderson up 2-1 as we start the 4th. Shapovalov down the tee with a strong serve to begin. Couple of big cuts in the initial serves for Shapovalov, who's won 76% of the points on first serves in the match. Anderson slightly better at 78%. Again, only 3 break points combined. All 3 have been scooped up.
30-15.
So Shapovalov, if you're him, Leaf, you got to be thinking, look, I'm playing number 5 in the world pretty well, and yet I've got to work from behind here.
Yeah, it's a tough position, but this thing's doable. It's within reach. He's just got to elevate his game a little bit. Again, better serving, better returning. You know, getting in and starting these points is a key, particularly against a guy like Anderson, who shuts you down with all the big serving. So there's a fair amount of pressure on you to take care of your serve. Otherwise, it's Air Canada, 10:45 tomorrow morning. You know, it's just, you know, block things out, and try and focus on doing the little things well, moving your feet, seeing the ball early. Yeah, and attack with creativity, something that he does so naturally.
Wonderful craftsmanship on that drop beauty from Shapovalov and a quick hole.
Yeah, not surprising. His idol growing up was Roger Federer. His favorite surface is grass, obviously. Great success at Junior Wimbledon. So this attacking game is pretty natural to him. You know, Kevin Anderson, different sort of player. Tall, likes to play from the back. He's had to learn how to be an attacking player, and it's something he's done pretty well. Excellent return. And again, he used a little bit of underspin for control just to keep it in play. Great job.
Talk about Anderson learning how to grow his game. A lot of guys get to this level and they get to where Anderson was as a consistent top 20 guy, and then they stay there and fall by the wayside. But he found a way to raise his profile even more. That says a lot about not only being able to enhance your craft, but mentally being able to find your way through it to kind of solve some of those puzzles.
Can you play a better point than that? He set it up so brilliantly and got back on even terms and then opened up the court with the forehand. And now he's got some space to work with. And it doesn't even need to be this good. I mean, look at the space that he can hit into. And this time when he moved up to the ball, he was under control, on balance. His head was steady. Beautifully done.
And Shapovalov just frustrated. Maybe a chance to work closer to get an elusive break point here against Anderson. And the big man pounding another one.
And if you're Shapovalov, you need to maintain your optimism. If you win consecutive points, you're above 30. You have 3 chances to win 1 point, and you're guaranteed at least 1 break point. So he's got another chance here. You got to look at the score, find the positive, try and make something good happen.
Instead, he's looking at a seed down the tee.
The great comedian Robin Williams, who was a wonderful tennis fan, he played a tennis exhibition with Pete Sampras, and he said I felt like it was an atom coming off his racket. I think that's what Shapovalov felt like. I think it was an absolute blur.
135 miles an hour. That's the fastest serve of the match for Anderson in a big spot.
Yeah, that's a classy response. I mean, that's what great players do. They elevate their game when they need it, usually when the most pressure's on.
1-all early in the 4th. Anderson 2-1 over Shapovalov. We'll see if Denis can manage his emotions and his game here in this critical service game. Got to match Anderson, who seems dialed in on his serve. Routine stuff right now for the 19-year-old.
Yeah, good solid tennis. Dependable stuff.
Four straight points, the hold for Shapovalov. 2-1 in the 4th. The Canadian needing this set to stay in the match. The 5 seed looking to even things up in the 4th set. He leads 2-1. There's something to being in a groove right now for Kevin Anderson. On the serve, this is it. Again, so far in this event, he's been rock solid, winning 39 of 41 service games in his first 2 matches, just broken once so far in this match.
It wasn't a bad return there, but Anderson, like his serve, he backs it up well. You know, he's solid forehand and backhand, and he recognizes what the ball's telling him. You know, the options that are there. Usually he picks a high percentage. I was actually a little surprised the last game. Shapovalov serve. Anderson took a couple forehands early in the rally up the line, and he missed both of those. You know, he tends to like to go cross court a couple of times, get the rhythm, and then change direction. Something you see, you know, all the guys, you know, Novak Djokovic, you know, build some rhythm and then play with more risk after you're in the groove.
And that measured kind of guidance there for him kind of fits his personality style, it would seem.
Yeah, Kevin's just such a nice guy. I mean, you come up to him in a restaurant, he's going to say hello and smile and ask how things are going. You know, he plays guitar. I mean, he's got an artistic side, got an empathetic side. In Kelsey, support stray dogs and the organization where they live.
It's funny, we were talking about the mascot, the wolf there for Shapovalov Storm. Anderson's been having some furry fun this year. Shapovalov able to get that.
Yeah, he's got some four-legged figures that support him on the road and at home. Yeah, nice return. And that's, again, second serve. He can be a little more aggressive, more consistently.
Yeah. Kelsey and Kevin travel with a small dog. Lady Katie Anderson.
That's right.
Has her own Instagram account. She may be yelping cries of delight with Kevin getting the hold here. Maybe on his way to another deep run.
Yeah, there's Kelsey. A very good golfer at University of Illinois. She was on the golf team there.
2-2 in the fourth.
Now, too bad. It was a good reply from Anderson. That's an awkward ball. Shapovalov, you know, maybe just, okay, I'm just going to put it deep in the corner, assume a good position at the net. Yeah, nice 1-2 punch. First serve and a first forehand.
Seems like he's got a little extra in that forehand when needed. 30-15.
Oh boy. Yeah, maybe just trying to do a little too much. Trying to shake that one off.
You do not want to give up a break point in this match because the other guys cashed in on all of them. Only been 3. Shapovalov got the one of the first. Anderson with one in each of the next 2 sets.
Boy, some point. Shapovalov really was behind in the rally. Worked his way back in and ultimately able to finish.
40-30.
Some punishing strokes in that, and then punctuated by that ripping backhand.
And some people have compared this backhand. One of them was Darren Cahill. It reminds him of Stan Wawrinka's backhand. Pretty high praise, and that's a big game for the Canadian.
Strong hold for Shapovalov. 3-2 and a must-win fourth set for him against the 5 seed, a U.S. Open finalist a year ago. Two players that really had their first big Grand Slam breakthroughs of their careers a year ago at the U.S. Open, meeting this year at the Open. U.S. Open finalist Kevin Anderson from 2017 against Denis Shapovalov, who made it here to the 4th round as an 18-year-old. A year later for both colliding here in the 3rd round. On serve in the 4th.
Now, Shapovalov did so well on the return, I almost expected him to be in behind it. Anderson was in a chip backhand position, so that means you're going to have time. The Canadian opted to stay back on that.
Anderson had been going to the net much more in the first couple of sets, has not gone there so far in this set.
30 left.
Is that in part because his serve has improved overall?
I think so. I think that's probably right. And I also feel like Shapovalov maybe isn't playing enough all-court tennis. I mean, he seemed to be moving forward and inside the baseline, coming in and playing some volleys. But he doesn't seem to be doing that. He also seems to be more reliant on baseline play. But for the moment, Anderson has an edge in that department.
40 left.
And again, he has been under siege, Shapovalov here, with Anderson just really ratcheting up the first serve percentages. Again, they're normally very high, but he was a little bit subpar in the opening set. That's when Shapovalov was able to snare his lone break. Super stuff from Anderson, and Shapovalov just short. Quick hold for the 5 seed.
And I think experience has been a part of this story as well. I mean, Anderson's 32 years of age. He understands his game so well. He's got the mental part of it down very expertly. Shapovalov just 19. I mean, he's sort of in that embryonic phase. He's still emerging.
Let's second serve.
I think if you had said at this point last year that Kevin Anderson would get to a Grand Slam final, there may have been a couple people that would have said, okay. Beautiful winner from Shapovalov. But now Leaf, if he can find a way through here to potentially put himself in position to make a deep run for the 3rd time in 5 slams,
Yeah,
that'd be quite an accomplishment.
I mean, look at the winners. I mean, Shapovalov 39. But look at the scoreline. That's a lot of veteran tennis talking.
30 left.
In some ways, it's, you know, how do I beat a guy who's playing better than me? And you're getting a look at that right now. I mean, Shapovalov has, in terms of numbers, you know, you could say, okay, yeah, he's maybe playing a little bit better than Kevin, but Anderson's winning. Yeah, nice shot.
40 left.
Plenty of game and just 19.
Yeah. Oh, baby. That's money.
4 games to 3, 4
Sweet
sets.
stuff from Shapovalov.
2 sets to 1.
The Prince of Canada.
Anderson trying to match him here in the fourth. Been funny, we've been talking about how Anderson has kind of managed himself in his game and learning to advance further as he's gone along. For Shapovalov now, how to manage all of these expectations after that breakout 2017. That's a process too. By all accounts, seems to be doing it pretty well.
30 left.
Is that a product of just having to go for it here with Anderson raising his serve game?
Yeah, I just think you have to make good decisions out there, and just a little bit too much too early in the rally.
And then Anderson bombing one at 133 on the paint.
And oftentimes, if you are feeling any fatigue at all, that can oftentimes affect your strategy. And maybe you go for a little too much too early. You're not as willing to go deep in the rally to ultimately get the one ball you want. Maybe you overplay. So we'll see if fatigue is a factor too. And these guys have been on court for 2 hours, 37 minutes.
And worth noting that Shapovalov is coming off the longest match of his career, 347 against Andreas Seppi in the last round. It's another part of the learning process, managing your body after that. He joked he's 19, but he's not a robot either. Anderson percolating with his serve game, 4-all. Fourth set.
Yeah, Shapovalov's last opponent, Andreas Seppi, is a little bit of a robot. I mean, that guy can hit a lot of balls, so I'm sure Shapovalov is feeling the effects of that, even with the day off coming into this one. Because the Italian is a veteran grinder, and he'll make you play, and Shapovalov had to do it. As good a win as he has ever had against a guy who's an established veteran player. Now he's trying to take out the world number 5. Yeah, see, that's the play. Sometimes, you know, when you have all the skill and all this talent, you want to rein it in a little bit. Just do the right thing. Up the line, deep, cover the line. You know, might not make the highlight reel, but you might raise a few trophies at the end of the day. That's it. Good, strong play into a big target. That cross court is high percentage. And he's got some time to work with here. Nice little stutter step to get himself into perfect position.
So the power with a backhand, the touch with a forehand, and Shapovalov strolling through this service game at 40 love.
I mean, that's Federer-like, right? Great volley, great backhand, great drop shot. He's got all the tools. And this is what makes him so eminently watchable, so box office.
14-15.
He certainly seems to be engaged and energized and willing to accept everything that's kind of come his way in the last year plus. Again, just steadily climbing the rankings this year. Highest 23 in the world, currently 28. And now Anderson benefiting from a couple of Shapovalov misfires. Get the sense the crowd inside Armstrong would not mind to see this go 5. Anderson will ask for a chase review as Shapovalov is ready to celebrate another hold. He can.
Shapovalov leads by 5 games to 4.
5-4 in the fourth. Anderson will serve to stay in the set coming up.
Anderson has 2 challenges remaining.
Kevin Anderson locked in an engaging affair against Denis Shapovalov. The 19-year-old from Canada took the opening set. 32-year-old South African the next 2. Anderson serving to stay in set 4.
First serve.
Remember earlier service game this set, Shapovalov.
The Shapo fashion.
Yeah, they're
there.
there.
It is.
You got it.
That or they have small heads. I don't know what it is. Maybe the hats are just coming bigger these days.
They
I don't
are.
know.
They have belief. Remember, he went up with a couple of points on Anderson's serve and then squandered that potential opportunity for a break. And now he has the same situation. Anderson, second serve where you can make some hay. He's just 3 of 7 on second serve, winning points in this set. Shapovalov pumped it long. Got to be adrenaline there thinking, I've got a shot against this guy's serve.
Yeah, it's tempting. And with all his skills, I'm sure he's thinking, I could just pop this down the line. 107 mile per hour second.
He got there and has break opportunities.
Now this man knows how to electrify a tennis crowd with plays like this. And celebrations like that.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Well, if trends continue, Shapovalov could win this game. 3 break points so far, all cashed in by these players. And he's got a couple to look at here, set points as well. One saved. Shapovalov box.
Andrei Kapinski there. Agent for Shapovalov in the back row.
And Anderson responds with some big swings.
He's got a souvenir.
And we are at deuce.
He's got another shot.
Some Maple Leafs in the house here in New York City. What a return, and Shapovalov has done it.
6-4, 2-0.
We will go 5 inside Armstrong. Kevin Anderson does not want to see his hopes of getting back to a potential U.S. Open final for a second straight year derailed, especially this early, considering how long he lasted a year ago. Shapovalov to serve here in the 5th. And Shapovalov throwing out an early double fault. 5th set records for these two. Shapovalov limited, of course, 2-1 all time, 1-1 this year. Anderson 13-10 in 5-setters, 3-2 this year. Including, of course, that 26-24 in the 5th at Wimbledon in the semifinal against John Isner. We won't get there here. Tiebreak awaiting, and Shapovalov a nervy beginning. Back-to-back doubles. That's going to cause some stress for Mom Tessa. Anderson wide. Experience of Anderson here in this situation and circumstance certainly more than Shapovalov, who's got the flow from getting that break. Anybody got the upper hand going into this one?
Well, I mean, you could make an argument for either one. I mean, Shapovalov, just his 4th 5-setter. Yeah, and again, there's the move forward. I think this is going to be an important part of his success. Play all-court tennis. Get to the net when you can. And this short play, Anderson has not really got an answer for that. I mean, he can use your speed to the net as well as side to side.
After dropping the first 2 points, he's notched 3 in a row. Trying to get a hold to begin here early on in this final set. Big blast for Shapovalov. First ever meeting between these two. And it turns out to be a memorable one in the third round at the U.S. Open, going the distance.
Yeah, one of these two guys is going to make the turn into the second week of a major, which is always pretty heady territory. We mentioned how Anderson at the start of his career struggled to break through that sort of level. He lost 9 fourth rounds at majors before finally getting a quarterfinal. So he's done it the hard way. Shapovalov's gotten a taste of it at a young age. And, you know, his youthful energy, you feel, could be a big advantage here in the 5th set, despite this being his 4th 5-setter.
Ladies and gentlemen, players are ready. Thank you.
And Nico Wellworth from the chair, chastising some folks to get their seats quickly. Anderson now 8 aces. And he hasn't been dominant in the ace category. And threw in 18 last round in a 3-set win against Jeremy Chardy. But he's done enough to give himself a chance in the 5th.
.30 left.
Yeah, rock solid. And that's what he needs to be. This is how Anderson plays his tennis. He's got to depend on that serve to move the scoreboard. Ninth ace.
Maybe more portly for him. 4 straight first serves in. 1-4, and it's 1-all.
Yeah, and he used that time well after losing the 4th set, just to check back in, catch his breath, and just remember why he's where he is in the ranks. He's 5 in the world, so the belief is strong that he can get through this, no doubt. Oh, that was a laser beam cross court. Grabbed the line. And again, these balls in the middle of the court can be a little dangerous. Yeah, a lot of left hand driving through that hit.
That was the rare backhand winner for Anderson against the lefty Shapovalov, just his 3rd, and then the teenager responds with an ace. Give him 9 now in the match.
Boy, that ball was close to the baseline. Shapovalov played it, and so unable to really challenge it. And suddenly Anderson is feeling like he has to come forward and make something happen.
Cross court, magnificent from Shapovalov.
Yeah, and remember, the roof is closed here at Armstrong, so it is pristine conditions. There's not a lot of wind, so you can play serve and volley tennis. The Canadian continues to add to his winners total.
And now Anderson has a break opportunity. He's had two, gotten them both. One in the second set, one in the third set. Hoping to get one here to begin the fifth. And he's got it. Kevin Anderson striding ahead here early fifth set against Denis Shapovalov inside Armstrong. 2-1 for the South African. Kevin Anderson, breakthrough here a year ago, the U.S. Open final, Wimbledon finalist earlier this summer, and now locked in a fifth set duel, but up a break against Canadian Denis Shapovalov. And now the teenager has to summon something to try to find a way to creep into the serve game of Anderson, which is a difficult ask, especially when both players are past the 3-hour mark in the match.
I mean, Anderson is such a resilient character. Lost the opening set here. His record this year, after losing the first set, is 9 wins, 8 losses, which is an incredible average, actually. Most players lose the majority of matches when they lose the opening set. But Anderson is just a warrior.
Of course, that was most notably on display at Wimbledon in the quarterfinal. 2 sets down, saved a match point, biggest career win against Roger Federer.
Yeah, Roger seemed to be cruising, didn't he? Until Anderson toughed him out.
And for Anderson, kind of made amends, because at the French in the 4th round against Diego Schwartzman, he was up 2 sets and watched that slip away. Shifting tides here in these 5-setters, always part of the equation, and it can go from set to set, game to game, and point to point. Shapovalov, maybe now at 30 all here, has some belief. Anderson will ask for a chase review, but Shapovalov right on the scene, and he thinks he may have a look at a break. It's out, and the break Shapovalov is looking for, that chance is here now.
Mr. Anderson has 2 challenges remaining. Please.
Look at a second serve here for Denis. Oh, he's beside himself. What a forehand.
And Denis Shapovalov.
Yeah, that's a sign of an alert player because Anderson has been going tee and Shapovalov goes there to take it away. Understand your opponent's patterns and count on it happening in your favor.
Anderson, mammoth down the line. Remember, Shapovalov missed his first 2 break chances in that critical 10th game of the 4th set. Will he get another one here in this game of the 5th? Conversation with the box continuing as Kevin Anderson has put himself in position to back up his break.
Yeah, laced the backhand. It was a pretty good deep ball from Anderson. Shapovalov just turned on it. His backhand has a fair amount of topspin, so it's dipping over the net. Some nasty spin.
Trying to return Kevin Anderson's serve is
Well, you
a
know,
difficult chore.
It is, I mean, hey, you've got a power serve coming at you. It's tough to meet power with power consistently. You're just going to miss. You have to be able to instill a little bit of control, whether it's underspin or block back in play. Because Anderson's second serve has a fair amount of pace on it, so you have to see it early and make sure you're activating on the return. Yeah, Shapo didn't even think that ball was clearing the net. It was so low and very flat.
Anderson leads by 3-1.
Yeah, it had a very strange trajectory.
Almost a delayed reaction
Yeah.
from Shapovalov, and that comes at an ill-opportune moment for him as Anderson, boy, stretched for it, but does navigate his way to the hold. It's 3-1. Don't forget, usopenshop.org, official shop for 2018 U.S. Open merchandise, tees, caps, towels, outerwear, collectibles. Visit usopenshop.org. Shapovalov serving at 1-3 in the 5th.
Manley has to be careful here. And the forehand really is Shapovalov's biggest weapon, although he has made 18 unforced error on that wing. But you don't want to, sort of take that sort of threat away from a player by saying, just put it into play. I think you still want him to be thinking aggressively, going for his shots. That's where his greatness is. So you don't want to tame that too much. Yep.
15-13.
Well, in some parlance, he's got a live arm, that takes a lot of big swings.
Exactly. And it's going to come together, the more consistent side of it. But maybe just go for the bigger targets with lots of spin. Yeah, good work there. And a nice body serve to set up that forehand. And again, he played that well inside the sideline. He has enough pace and enough spin to do the damage. Don't worry about hitting it on the line.
Shapovalov in this set has not won a second serve point yet, 0 of 5. He's got one now. Anderson couldn't control the backhand. Roaming the grounds of the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center. He's a fun time, part of the experience here at the US Open. Inside Armstrong, one of the places to be anytime, especially on this afternoon turned to evening. Late on this day, Friday, first Friday at the 2018 US Open. Engaging 5-setter here between Kevin Anderson, the 5 seed, and 28th rated Denis Shapovalov. Anderson up a break in the decisive 5th set. Can the lucky charm work its magic? The Wolf Storm, again picked up by Denis early in the year in Australia, says it kind of suits him on the court. He's hunting. He's pretty fierce, intense, kind of like a wolf would be.
15 all. Are you sure?
Nico Wellworth for the chair said, "Are you sure?" And Denis looked at him and thought better of it. He'll save one of those chase reviews for later on if necessary.
Yeah, back down the tee. That's been Anderson's favorite serve throughout the day in the deuce court. And Denis done a pretty good job getting a racket on these serves, but it is one of the biggest and best serves in the game right now. 130 miles per hour. Yeah, and again, Shapovalov seeing that ball early and just getting it back into play. Wonderful play. And he took away that middle somewhere that Anderson likes. Let's see where the big South African goes with this first serve.
Good read from Shapovalov, the put away, and a break chance.
13-14.
Yeah, that backhand on the baseline. And again, lots of spin, but a bit of angle to put Anderson in some trouble in the corner. Now he can plow forward and finish. I mean, I like to see that heavy forehand with the spin and the angle. Lots of margin, pretty safe, yet aggressive.
Shapovalov 2 of 6 on break points in the match. Now a meek return, and Anderson crushing that one away.
Yeah, for the match, Anderson winning 74% of his first serve points.
Time violation, one mistake.
And a first time violation on the serve clock.
Well, he wasn't really close to getting the toss up, so I can understand the call by umpire Hellworth.
And first time implemented at a Grand Slam this year. First one, just the warning. Shapovalov crushing the forehand.
Yeah, well, you like the short take back. There was a lot of control. He used the pace coming at him well. Can't execute it any better than that.
Correction ball was good. Replay the point. Mr. Anderson challenging the call. Left baseline, ball was called in.
So we've got an overrule. Linesperson had it out. Chair overruled it. Shapovalov was playing on. And now Anderson asking for a review. Clearly on the line. So it's going to be a replay of the point.
Yeah, and Shapovalov saying it's not even close, but that's right. The linesperson made the error.
Fans not liking it. Replay of this break opportunity for Shapovalov. Anderson offering a big 130-mile-an-hour serve, and fans still not appreciative of the last point. A lot of Shapovalov backers here in the stadium.
Thank you. Please.
One more break. Big time opportunity, Shapovalov.
That's really fun to watch Shapovalov play. Is so many young tennis fans come out to see this guy. He's leading the next generation of tennis fans into our sport.
And at the other end, the workmanlike experience of Kevin Anderson just keeping himself rolling along in this game, in this match.
Yep, heavy hitting, backs up the good serve with heavy ground strokes. I mean, this guy is a bull. He's so strong. 6'8", 205. He could be playing power forward in the NBA. Maybe not for the Toronto Raptors right now. Maybe for the Miami Heat. He lives in South Florida, does his training there now.
Well, he'd like to slam dunk this serve and get out of trouble here in this game.
Yeah, late call, but I think it was a good one. Yep, Anderson's not going to challenge.
Anderson perseveres and pushes through and gets the hold. 4-2 in the fifth.
Yeah, Kelsey's excited about it. His coach Brad Stein on the end of the row there. He's excited about it. All these important steps, if you're going to get over the line.
Now Shapovalov again, break chances squandered. Has to push that aside and concentrate on the task at hand.
Now he's got to be careful here. Obviously wants to stay within reach with just a single break. It's still doable. He was so close, and he's had chances, but he's got to take care of his own serve. That's always the challenge. Oh, that was just amazing. From the serve to the return to the finishing shot. I mean, look at how he finds a winner from outside the doubles way. Ooh, that is beautiful.
52 winners now for Shapovalov, nearly double that of Anderson. Now Anderson creeping towards potential break territory. And he has been money if he's gotten a break point. He's seen 3, cashed in on 3.
Yeah, both men have found the tee a place they like to live. And this time it's the left-hander.
Almost 3.5 hours of top flight tennis here inside Armstrong. Anderson, stay relaxed. He knows if he holds his serve, he'll get the desired result. Shapovalov ending it with the ace, but still trails Kevin Anderson with that earlier break in the fifth, in control inside Armstrong. Fans invested here in this first ever meeting between Kevin Anderson and Denis Shapovalov. And if they're all going to be as good as this one, a lot of folks might buy tickets again. We go to a fifth set. Anderson up a break, serving at 4-3. U.S. Open finalist here last year, getting a stiff challenge for the second time in his opening 3 matches. Ryan Harrison of the United States extended Anderson to 5 in the opening round, and now Shapovalov has done the same here in round 3. managing the emotions in this big spot. Maybe even a bigger challenge than just managing the game.
Yeah, well, he plays with a lot of energy, plays with passion. It seems, though, that when he gets it out of him, he's focused and ready to go for the next point. Boy, that's some nice work at the net. Shapovalov did some pretty good work in defense. And for a long time, this was the kind of tennis that Kevin Anderson wasn't comfortable playing, but I think he's realized that if he wants to be a big-time player, he's got to finish at the net. Now he does a good job up there.
And he's come a little bit more so far this set, 4 of 6 success rate than he has the last couple of sets.
Yeah, just too good. That's really some wonderful tennis from Anderson. You can only tip your hat.
The experience really battle tested with what he's accomplished, not only the past few years, but especially elevating himself into a top 5 player in the last year plus. Shapovalov on the board in the game.
Yes, caught him leaning the wrong way. It's a very versatile weapon because he can curl that cross court. And you might feel you might be running to your left. Suddenly he pops that back the other way. I mean, Anderson is going in the wrong direction completely. Can't slam on the brakes to get it.
There's a little artistry involved with that forehand.
Unbelievable. That's pretty clutch tennis.
130 miles an hour when you need it. Kevin Anderson, 5-3, a game away from the 4th round.
You expect nothing less from a U.S. Open finalist, a Wimbledon finalist.
Shapovalov.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, take your seats. Players are waiting. Thank you.
Halting his motion after the chair has asked fans to get seated. Serving to stay in this 5-set. And now, a couple of loose points. Anderson, 2 points away. Wife Kelsey has seen her husband take a couple of deep runs in 2 of the last 4 Grand Slams. Can he do it again for the 2nd straight year here in New York? Now Anderson triple match point.
14.
Shapovalov staying alive. 12th ace of the match for the teenager.
Yes, expertly done. He's got a real sense of reading the play, making decisions, and this time paid off beautifully. The execution was right on the money, and this time he carved that ball nicely over the top of the net.
2 match points retrieved. Can he get another? He's hanging around.
And I suppose it's not just the young tennis fans who are captivated by this young Canadian. Everyone in this stadium is enjoying this performance.
That's called wide.
Yeah, I think this one missed. Just curled it a little too wide.
He'll opt for the chase review and hope, but it's not there. Another match point. 4th here for Anderson. Saved again.
Yeah, I like what Anderson did, though, on the return. You know, at heavy pace, he's just carved that ball, put it into play, and asked the question. It's about the best you can do when Shapovalov is delivering these bolts. And look at that. Yeah, 125 with a little bit of salsa on it at the end, curling away from Anderson.
The Shapo diehards believe. He's gotten the hold, but he has to get a break. That chance is coming as Kevin Anderson serves for the match next. It's come to this in the 5th inside Louis Armstrong Stadium at the U.S. Open. Kevin Anderson, a hold, and he moves on to the 4th round. A break. Denis Shapovalov continues to fight on here in the 5th. Anderson didn't allow a breakpoint chance in a straight set victory in round 2. He saved 7 of 9 breakpoints on this day. And a powerhouse swat right out of the gate, 134 miles an hour for the ace.
So valuable to possess a weapon like this coming down the stretch, dialing up an unreturnable.
Shapovalov's got to dig to try to work his way against Anderson, who seems to have raised the game on these serve strikes the last couple of sets. And another monster on the tee. Match point, Kevin Anderson.
Fault. Mr. Anderson challenging the call right near sideline. What was called fault?
Well, a chase review. Anderson looking to see where this lands. Just wide.
Wow.
The U.S. Open finalist from a year ago finally passed the teenage sensation from Canada in 5 sets.